the Bijan family. Today, to express my best regards to the Bijan family, especially Mr. Kuldeep Jain, Manish Jain, the entire Jain family. I also grateful and thankful to Yashika, Rajesh ji, and all the team who are behind this Homeopathy 360. Friends, it is one of the important chapters that I wanted to discuss with you all, and it is one of the most sensitive subjects of our practice in homeopathy, and to get introduced with the patient. It is the linkage between the patient and the doctor that the case taking has to work, and we can prove our efficacy, whatever want to display or whatever we want to do through the patient only. So interacting with the patient is one of the most important aspects, which includes the listening, which includes the observations and your communications process. So with this, we have the case taking has become the vital point for our practice, especially in the acute cases. It has proved to be the most challenging for all of us. Although the art of prescribing becomes more effective with the experience, it is necessary to adhere to the basic principle on which it is applied. In due course, what we feel that now we are experienced, so we used to ask less, we used to observe it, and because something there in the mind, we apply the mind only, and we have tried to practice. So what I feel that we should keep reminded, always reminded, that every time we are observing, it is new observation. Every time we are listening, it is new listening. So we have to be very sincere about observing, listening, and both the things together. It has to go together. And in the acute cases, requires acute observation, and at the same time, speedy, because the patient requires the speedy recovery. Minuteness and variability presents a very challenging situation for arriving at the simillimum. Examination of the patient. Now, we have to, the purpose of the examination of the patient is to individualize. The keynote of homeopathic art, which begins with the examinations with the patient. It is impossible to examine the patient in general and prescribe him a particular medicine. Because if you don't go step by step, if you miss any of the steps, you will feel that something has been broken and you will not be able to arrive at the particular medicine. Before we can select a remedy for a given case, we must first ascertain the patient's particular symptoms as well as the general symptoms for the patient for which the patient has complained, and the form of the disease picture. The disease pictures include the pictures which is there present on the patient's life, the present patient's life. Finding out the peculiarity, it is one of the main points for us to find the peculiarity of the case and how to get accommodated in the present situation. His mental understanding, his physical body language, and overall expectations of the patient. These are the things that has to be met with the patients. Next. Now this is the outline which is before your screen, and you can see that what steps we are going to have. We have to initiate the case. Then we have to go into develop a rapport with the patient, and then we have to conduct the interview with the patient, the physical examinations, and then explanations and planning. This is also very important. And then the closing sessions. I think we all, as a homeopathic practitioner and in our practice, we are always aware of these facts. But I am only trying to remind you that this is essential aspect where we should be active every time. Next, please. We need to strictly follow the guidelines for the case taking. Dr. Hahnemann, in Organon of Medicine, between FOIL number 83 to 104, has given descriptive instruction for case taking. He also has given guidelines for the acute case taking. Case taking with the use of repertory. Now, what I feel, with my understanding to take the history for each and every case, I experience things become more easy for selection as well as for the practice. Technical introductions of repertory was made right from the formative stage of homeopathy. Yet this subject seems to be neglected in disguise of therapeutic approach. I strongly feel that repertory only stands for the therapeutic introductions to homeopathic practice. Although repertory are preferred to some extent for chronic cases, but for acute cases, its use are almost ignored. The most important method is often useful because some patients are only able to express themselves in a very basic way, or possibly they are too timid to loosen up their and let their things out. Other type of patients actually reveals the simillimum beautifully in a kind of rubrics language and symptomatology, as if they have studied our Mitra Medica. Those are delighted cases they back up all the old informations that we have learned in our foundation studies. Now, I will, with my practical experience with the BGOPD, I have observed repertory to use it as quite simple. With this revolution coming up for computer era and introductions of software like Radar Opus things have become almost user friendly. This has not only supported our selection but also provided miraculous effect from medicines coming out through the repertory which might not have ever been thought by us. Now I present a few cases to illustrate my experience. This is a case, the first case, it is a 15 years old male and he was brought to us by his mother for the complaints of fever which was for the last 15 days. His presentations was restless. He didn't want it. On further inquiry, we need notice the following report. I'm not going into the. I'm going only giving you the points at this point. At this remarkable point, although he was comparatively mild boy, but since the fever he was getting angered frequently and during increased state it was more. His presentations was convulsive in nature. That something the body was in restless. His taste of mouth was bitter even since the fever. And although his body was warm, but feet were cold. His appetite was variable. Remarkable point was getting chill sensation during the anger. That's what I observed while the patient was narrating, the mother was telling to us. So on the basis of this history, I selected few rubrics from the repertory, which is on the screen. But you can guess what medicines could have been in your, and see the repertorial chart here. Please forward again. I took the rubric fear, fever, anger after, then face discoloration, red, fever during, hand gestures makes convulsive, convulsive. Then mind gestures makes convulsive. Then so you see the rubrics here, and the first medicine was the Nux vomica arsenic. You might have thought of the other medicines also, but you see how nicely all the symptoms are being covered under the Nux vomica. And Nux vomica was prescribed. Next slide. Nux vomica was prescribed in 0/1 potency. The next day, the report came. The taste of mouth was better and fever was less. And next day, no fever. He was feeling completely okay. So single dose of the Nux vomica in 0/LM potency was prescribed, and it relieved which the patient was suffering for the last 15 days with no relief from other system of the medicines. So this was the case. Next case. This is a boy of 10-year-old, and he was brought to us with a complaint of the diarrhea. He was suffering from it since a week. Usually 5 to 6 stool he was passing. The stool was watery with foul smell. On further inquiry, we noticed the following remarkable points. He was constantly putting his finger into the mouth. Urging to was usually after the breakfast in the morning after eating during the daytime. So but after breakfast it was must, and sometimes after eating also. This child was fearful in night, especially in the dark, and he had a strong liking for the fish. He was a young boy, but preferred to remain alone, quietly seated inside the house. So on the basis of these symptoms, we repertorized through the repertory radar opus, and we got the following results. And the Netromure was the medicines. All these rubrics that was presented, it indicates that about the Netromure. Netromure was prescribed. Next slide. Netromure was prescribed in 0/1 potency. The next day report came, feeling much better. Stool frequency was much less, and after next day, he was having the normal stool and he was feeling okay. So only single dose. See the miracle, what happens when you have the right stimulum. And sometimes we may not be able to think properly, but we hear after selections, and after selections we have the confidence, and we are prescribing with the confidence. So this is the confidence which works, and confidence coming out, and it is also supported by our support system. So nowadays the repertory has to be taken as a support system for our mind. We cannot, we should not depend only on our mind, because our Mitra Medica is so vast, our repertory is so vast, it cannot be put into the head every time. And even if you have everything in the head, it is very difficult to recall the things when it is required. So next, we come to the next case. Now this is a female of 26 years, and the patient, she herself told, I am suffering from cough since last 4 days. Sputum is not coming out. I do not know what to do with it. Family members are not realizing, and they feel I am pretending. This is the remarkable, you have to listen properly. Feel that I am pretending. Now, what we got more severe pain in head with frequent sneezing. With the cold air, headache was getting worse. Patient was feeling dryness in the throat, and cough was both during day and the night. On this basis, we got the medicines which we would not have thought of. I was also not for these medicines. The Dellcamra was the medicines we prescribed. Next slide. We prescribed Dellcamra. See, Dellcamra. And Dellcamra is a type of the patient who are very egoist, and they used to think that they are right, always right. And that's why this patient was feeling that the other people are not believing him. And so this and the rubrics contains this medicine. And my prescribing point was the pretending feeling that his sensation was there along with the other symptoms. So this medicine was prescribed in 0/1 potency. Reported next day no headache and irritation in throat, and next day cough was almost gone, and after that she was feeling well. A single again here the great love for homeopathy, and its attraction was only for the single dose, single remedy, single dose, and this is the homeopathy when you prescribe with the using the repertory, and it's not difficult. You can keep the repertory open in your clinic. For me, in my clinic, as soon as I am in the clinic, my computer gets opened, and every time we have the radar open for my hand. So I never feel that the radar opus is separate. It has become my bosom friend or my part of my life of the clinical practice. Next slide. Next. Now this is again a case number 4. It is 19 years old male. Doctor, I am suffering from diarrhea since last 1 week. Used to have 5 to 6 stool a day, loose and watery with lot of foul smell. One thing is causing concern to me. Whenever I start walking, I get urge for the stool. Now here see the symptoms. The first, earlier case of the diarrhea and this case of the diarrhea, the difference is there. That patient was getting the urge after the breakfast, and this patient was feeling urge as soon as he starts walking. Stool appearance was curdled. He used to get cramps in the abdomen before urge for stool. Patient was rubbing his forehead. On asking, he explained that something is crawling. Stool was causing concern. Appetite was less, yet thirst was more. We prescribed the medicines. Next slide. The medicines was rheum. Have you thought of the rheum on the basis of this thing? I had no mind at that time. But the rheum, I prescribed the rheum. And you see the result of the rheum. Next slide. Next slide. Rheum platinum, Flamatum. It was prescribed again in 0/1 potency. The very next day, the stool was less, and another next day, urging was there was no urging after the walking, and now feeling much better, but with only 2 formed stool a day. So see what this rheum has done with the finger. So friends, it is very important that you observe, listen, and report back. Don't take the medicines because I would have not prescribed rheum to this patient on the basis of the presentation, because rheum was not in my mind. But this repertory, it reminded me that rheum is also there, and some elimination factors and various other factors are there that can be useful, that can be utilized for the prescribing. Next, another case. This is a male 8 years boy, and the mother has brought, my child has the barking cough, but he do not keep still and do not want to remain in the bed. However pressure I make him in the bed. The mother is saying, child was cheerful even with coughing and appeared as if it was not concerned with it. It was told by mother that in between the coughing, child used to irritate. It was not tolerating the covering. Water was also not tolerated. Now you see the next medicine that emerged from this presentations. Next. Veratrum. Veratrum. Next slide. Veratrum. It was prescribed, cough decreased very next day, and it got totally removed after 3 days. So the miracles happen in homeopathy, but it requires your vision, it requires your confidence, it requires your accuracy in observation. Next slide. Now, importance of case taking during repertory during the case taking. Using repertory help us to repertorize the case, but also in case taking. Now, once suppose you are close to some of the symptoms, and you will be initiated, you will be prompted to ask questions when the repertory is open before you. So many of the stalwarts I have read, Dr. Jugal Kishore was advocate, Dr. R.P. Patel, he also advocated that using repertory simultaneously during the case taking, you can get, or you can complete the thing and again look back into the repertory and again ask the questions. You will get the more very precise information, and it is also useful to compare the medicines between the two similar remedies. And non-conscientious homeopathic doctor cannot practice homeopathy in a serious and scientific way without repertory, the PRA Smith had remarked. So, if you are honest, you feel that you want to do practice homeopathy honestly, you have to use, it is the only tools to make homeopathy applicable on the ground. Next slide. Now, let me point out some of the things that you can observe for the acute cases. For the acute cases, the very important thing that, and we have studied in Organon of Medicine, that it is sudden explosion of the sora, sudden explosion of the sora, and how the patient is going to face that explosion, how the patient is going to listen to that, to see that. There are some patients who are nervous in nature, there are patients who are very bold in nature, varieties of the mentality are there, attitudes are there, and it is also not prepared state. During the present pandemic situation, during this pandemic, we were not prepared in the beginning. Now we are getting prepared. But it was suddenly when it appeared, the first things that happened, it was important. The symptoms are very intense. Symptoms are very intense with the sudden explosion. You can, visibility is more. You can listen, you can hear, you can see, and you can hear both and very clearly. So this is the clarity is one of the important things for the acute case, because of the sudden explosion of the sora, outburst. The symptoms are like very sharp. The sharpness is there in the modality, sharpness is there in the sensations also. So you have to look for the sharpness of the symptoms in the acute cases. Next. Sudden explosion of the sora. And symptoms during acute conditions are like withstanding the immediate threats. Something has happened. Earthquake has happened. Something has happened. New things. Unprepared state. Unprepared state. And how you behave during unprepared state, that indicates your individuality. Unprepared state, where you have not expected anything, at that time, whatever comes out, whatever way you reflect, that will reflect your individuality. And everyone, they reflect and they face the situation, this type of situation, in their own way. Some become faint. They go into they become unconscious. Some may become panic. Some may become very fearful. Some may become nervous. Some may start crying, squeaking. So many expressions are there. And the patients are coming with these things before us. Next. Now, individuality. And this is the basic fundamental principle for homeopathy. Human being is best manifested through the personality. Reaction as is more expressive during the acute period. Individuality, you have to find it out. How it is different from the other. How it is different from the other. And we have to be like something looking for the new. So when you are in search for something, how it is different, you will get the answer. How it is different, definitely you are going to get the answer. Next slide. So individuality is like this. Can be observed with minute observation. This is called acute observation. Can you see the individuality in this case? Yes, definitely we can observe and we can see but only with the minute. If you don't see it minutely, you will say no, all are the same. This usually happens when you have in the mind that I have to treat the diarrhea. Every time the same medicines will come into your mind. But when you think that no, I have to prescribe medicines for the diarrhea, for this man, your mind will start thinking and looking for something new in that case. This is the requirement that we could have. Next. Then mind and body comes more close to each other during the case acute illness. During the acute illness, mind and body, they combines together. They come together. That means you cannot prescribe arsenicum where there is no restlessness. That means restlessness is the mind and body physical symptoms are there. So you have to, they come closer. So mind and body accompanying this. Dr. Bonnie-Grisens talk about it. Dr. Kent also observed it, that you have to look for where the mind and body are separated, in what way the mind and body are separated, and in what way the mind and body are close together. Next. The nature of the disease symptoms in acute cases are best presented in the modality and the sensation. In the modality and sensation, you have the prominent Bonnie-Grisens characteristics value of the symptoms. He has written characteristics for value of the symptoms. And the last point was commando and cunando. Commando means modality. Modality means how you are facing with how you are behaving and in the presenting environment. The weather is cold and you are having the problem, and how you are getting accommodated with that. Your accommodations in the situations. This is the modality. And your sensation, your internal, it is coming out as an external expression. Next. Now, look for the state of mind during the acute illness. Every patient, they have their own way to think during the acute illness. Some patients are concerned about their family members. Some patients are concerned about their own health. Some patients are concerned about their job. Where is the mind? You see, in the 9th volume, Dr. Henneman has mentioned about the indwelling region gifted mind. Where the mind is dwelling. Where the mind is dwelling. This is very important. Indwelling mind. Or during the acute illness, where is your mind? Your mind is on the, sometimes you say the anxiety in the chest. There are some rubrics in the report, the anxiety in the chest. That means the mind is in the anxiety, feeling anxiety in the abdomen. Anxiety in the abdomen. This type of the rubrics are there. Something is crawling in the head. The case that I showed you, something was crawling in the head. And the mind was somewhere else. The problem was somewhere else. Someone are very concerned about their presentations. Whatever may be the acuteness of the pain, very fastidious about their presentations. You may be thinking about the pulsatilla, you may be thinking about the insecurity with the arsenicum, and so many things are there. So mind is the important component for the acute case. Next. Now, this food is another important area where you can get the symptoms. The craving and aversions to various food become prominent during, and even the taste of the food and the food that was liked very much. The patient will be telling you that he had a strong liking for the fish or a strong liking for the sweets. But as when the patient was having the fever or some acute conditions, now he has got hatred for the sweets. Now he don't like. Now see, here comes the affinity with the sweet is there. The changes in the affinity for the sweets, and this becomes the important criteria for selection of the medicines and this food craving and aversion. And during the every time it happens, and you can get. So this is another good area where you can discover the symptoms. Next. Then periodicity is another important field where we can find out the strangeness of the symptoms. You have the Boger has made a wonderful remark about the time of remedies. The exact timing, and the patient also tells you about the periodicity. It is happening early in the morning, it is happening early in the evening, it is in the afternoon, and exactly some people will tell you, and you can match your watch also. So this periodicity is another area that can be observed in the acute cases. Next. Next. Then clubbing of the common symptoms. Now what happens during the acute conditions? Sometimes, and you may see that the patient will be telling you, I am having the diarrhea, I am having the headache, I am having the nose water. So many, all these common symptoms are. What happens during the acute condition? All the area of the body and the mind are affected, and all the common things will come together and get reflected at that time. So the common symptoms, when they come in togetherness, when they come in at a particular time, they become uncommon. This is the beauty of the common symptoms, using the beauty in the repertory, and with the help of the repertory, you are going to suppose fever, cough during, fever during, diarrhea, fever during, perspiration, fever during, heat sensation, fever during. All these are common symptoms. But you are getting the 5 rubrics from the 5 different areas, and you are getting the completeness of the picture, and so these 5 symptoms will constitute the characteristics value. So common symptoms also sometimes acquire the characteristics value. Characteristics value means that how and how often they are separated, they are scattered, but at the acute time, all common symptoms are coming up. Next slide. Now you have to understand. Now this is your opportunity to correlate and the causation. And causations. Now whatever may be the conditions nowadays in the pandemic situations, the causations are one. So we have to correlate with the causations, because without correlating, you may not be arriving at the right medicines. Because sometimes if you go into the isolation, it will be known as the mechanical calculation of the medicine. But when you associate the causation, it will become distinctively something different. And every causation, every effect has got its causation. We have to keep in mind, and this is the things that you can get from here and understand. Next. Then keeping repertory handy during the case taking helps improving our exploration. Usually we keep repertory online during our clinic hours. Myself, I am practiced. I have at this age also, I don't feel confident with my mind with the clinic, because patient varieties are every time patients coming. I feel that if something new has come to me, I have to see afresh. I have to look. I don't have to look into the past. I have to see in the patient seated before me. If you make a habit like this, for this, the repertory is going to be the best friend in your clinic. And it is said that the repertory is the best guide. You don't need to consult the senior in the clinic, because senior is not available before you. He's seated some far away place. But repertory is like the best senior for you. Senior having all the information in themselves. So, friend, we develop a habit of using repertory, and if you make it indispensable in your life, you can see the miracle that is happening before you with your patient. It helps to navigate into patient's life, and arriving at unusual remedy is quite common. You have just seen how I have arrived at the medicines that I was not thinking. You may be thinking about that, but I was not thinking about that medicine. So when practice medicine selection through the repertory, so this practice of medicine is an art, and it is also our wit and our intelligence that we are going to observations, through the observations and the listenings. Next. Friends, here comes the last slide. please keep in mind who is the person. Wait, what is the problem? Why the person has come? This usually happens. This is the way we have to meet, we have to communicate. This is a communication process for our in our day-to-day life, and we can apply it medically in our case taking. Who is the person? What type of the person has come to it? Why? Then the next question: why he has come? That is the problem, which means the personality, the person. Person includes his constitutions, his mind, his physical structures, everything is there. So you have to observe it minutely. We have some patients, look for the patient silently, and you can get many more things here. Then quid. Quid means the problem. Then you be what else? Associated problem. And then seat of the disease. You be seat of the disease. Where the disease is, where is the problem? Then what else? Cubus oculus, cure. What is the causations? Scumato. What is the modifying factors? And what is the time? So even if you keep the 7 verses of Dr. Bonifacius, you are going to definitely, you will not be missing any point in the case taking. But you have to be observant, you have to be vigilant for your understanding. Next slide. So with this, I think we have finished our slides presentations, and I invite your questions if you have any, so that we can either chat. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session and wonderful description of each and every case. I would like to request the audience who are with us to please post your questions in the chat box so that we can discuss with our speaker, Dr. Sahani, sir. Please post your questions, whatever queries you have. Sir, there was a query from Dr. S. Manimozi. That why did you prescribe in 0/1 potency?
Yeah, that's a good question.
From Dr. Rupa as well, the same question.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are 2-3 people. Yes,
Now,
sir.
I feel you must be understanding 0/1. That is the LM potency. And what I have learned since my beginning, I'm following the Organon and Hahnemann's last message about the potency, selection of the potency. It is one of the biggest problem for the homeopath to select a potency. And Dr. Hahnemann was also having this type of the questions in his mind. He wanted to have such type of the potency which is very, very compatible to the life. Compatible to the life. Whatever type of the potency that was being used in the centesimal scale and decimal scale didn't seem to be closer to the patient's life. The patient energy life. Patient energy life, the level of the energy, similimum has to be at the level of the energy. So Hahnemann experimented with the potency, and he found that when he diluted to the extent of 0/1, that is in LM potency, it comes closer to the patient's life, the average patient's life. So he has given the guidelines. Whenever you start with a new case, you can start with the 0/1, the first potency. And from here, you gradually go up. Now, when you were using the centesimal scale, like the 30, what next potency you think about? Have you ever thought about the 31? Have you ever thought about the 32, 32? And why we should not think like that? Why we are thinking after 30, 200? This was a very confusing statement. And Hahnemann, you can compare this with the 6th edition of the Organon. Anyone was very much concerned with all these questions, all these minute observations of Dr. Hahnemann. He wanted to have sequential potency. That means it's a very much lively, compatible potency to the life. So for me, I have made it a practice. I'm in my daily practice, I never, seldom use the centesimal potency, because only those medicines which are not available in 50 millisiemens using the centesimal. Otherwise, all those medicines which are available in LM potency, and I am trying to look for all the LM potency in my clinic. So I keep only LM potency in my clinic, and this is the first step toward. And here the problem of selection of the potency is also lessened, reduced. So with my experience, I have observed that starting a case in the acute cases with the LM 0/1 potency, it is very useful. And for the chronic case, I usually jump up to the 0/3 in some cases, but most of the time, in every type of the case, because if you go into the 0/1, it will immediately tell you that whether you have to go up or you have to. Hahnemann has also spoke about the plussing methods. Lieb Shepers. You go through the organ and commentary by Lieb Shepers. He has beautifully remarked about the plussing methods. Means throwing away all the water and putting new water into it, and the potency is slightly raised. So gradual. It is going up slowly, so that it is not going to aggravate too much. So aggravation is another concern for the homeopathic practitioners. Patients, they feel that the symptoms will get, and they will have to either to discontinue, either to antidote. But the question is not like that. If the medicine is right, we are not going to antidote it. Only thing is that you have to accommodate with the potency, proper potency. Next. Thank you.
There is one more question. There is one more question on this only from Dr. Harini, that we can give 0/1 for all age groups.
Yeah, definitely. Because 0/1 means, what is the meaning of 0/1? Is that 0/1 is the average human life compatible to the human consciousness. It is the observations of Dr. Hahnemann. That's why he spoke about 0/1, the first level of potency right from birth to the end. With the chronicity and the time, you can slightly go to 2, 3, 4 later. But one will tell you to go to the 2, 2 will tell you to go to the 3. This is the gradual things. And getting accommodated is another problem. Getting accommodated with the potency, getting accommodated with the medicines. This is resolutions of the medicines and the patient, with the gradual, it has to be done gradually. This is important for the next.
Thank you, sir. There is one more question.
Definitely, sir. I'm thankful.
From Dr. Archana.
Yeah, tell me.
She's asking case taking important tips. Can you give some tips for case taking?
So I have just given you so many tips. Case taking tips is to be watchful. The first tip is to be watchful for the observing the patient seated before you. You can miss many of the important questions if you don't observe. I can tell you, a patient was brought to me. I just again reminded of one patient. The patient was a small baby, unable to talk. It was crying. Mother was putting on her lap, and they were waiting for their turn to come inside my clinic. And when they came inside my clinic, I just simply observed one important thing. The child was putting the thumb sucking the thumb and still crying. Now you go to the repertory, you get sucking the thumbs. How many medicines are there? Calcarea, Camo, Ipecac, 2, 3 medicines, Netramute, medicine. This much. Now I am within this. Then I asked, what is the liking? What the patient, this baby is eating? Doctor साहब ये कुछ नहीं खाता है, खाली उनको पानी में चीनी मिला के देते हैं तो. So liking for the sweets was there, and stool was whitish in color. Can you get the medicine? Yes, definitely. Now I got the medicine. It was Calcarea car. And Calcarea car 0/1. The boy was suffering from the diarrhea. Consulted so many allopathic, homeopathic doctors, and nothing worked. And this Calcarea car in single, only with the observations of thumb sucking, helped to get relieved of the problems. Another case you can see, the child was with me, and it was trying to come close to me. Mother was putting her back. Touches everything. Just see. He wants to touch. He wants to see the computer, my computer. He wants to touch close, come to me. Magnetized desire to be. The rubrics are there. So, wonderful things is that how much observation. And one thing I will request you all. If you are seated in your clinic and you have the time, keep your radar opus open and just see how many, and if you just scroll through the repertory chapters and the rubric. And my lesson to message for all the youngsters, at least read 2-3 rubrics every day. With the dictionary, don't go by the any explanations, you go by the word meaning and try to think yourself. Your imagination's power will increase. You will be able to think more. Your thinking ability has to be increased. And so that observations will become large. So, friends, keep learning every day. Nothing you can achieve in the life until you read, and it makes the part and habit like a prayer you do every day. You read something every day, some rubrics, some medicines every day, and this is the part and parcel of the physician's life. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request everybody to please put up your questions. Sir, there is a question from Dr. Sharmishtha. How can we calculate the duration between two different potencies? Like how many days we need to give 200 potency, then to 1M, and so on. She
Yeah.
wants to know about the log series.
Yeah, that's good. Suppose, can I give you an example? You know how we play football? We make a kick and the ball start rolling. Now, when you are going to make a next kick, in between or when the ball stops moving, this is your choice. If you stop in between, as long as the ball is rolling, and you make another kick, what will happen? It will aggravate the situation. But if you make a next prescription only after the first dosage has stopped working, and then you make another kick, that is the right time to prescribe the next potency or the next higher potency. So keep on following the medicines as long. Have patience, and see. I was consulted for a fever patient, few days back. The patient was having a lot of the fear for this corona era. It was there. And it was only on the telecommunications. The patient was at their house. I was asking the questions, and they were trying. And I got the medicine, and I prescribed that medicine. The medicine didn't work. After 6 hours, the fever was the same. Another after 6 hours, the fever was the same. So 12 hours passed. Should I change the medicines? No, I didn't change the medicines. Why? Because it was not only the fever. I was also looking for other associated symptoms during the fever. The patient, I was asking all the questions every time. The patient telephoning me, and I was asking, what is your thirst now? No, डॉक्टर साहब पेशेंट था प्यास तो कुछ कम है पहले से. Now I see the medicine is working. So have patience. This is very important, and learn to wait and watch for every minute observation. And at the end of the day and the next morning, the patient rose up without fever, And this was the miracle of the single medicine. So if you interrupt the medicines in between, it is going to be complex. You know how the complex disease is created? It is, you give out of the haste, you give one medicine after the another, and they will interact with each other, and complexity is created. And the complex disease, Hahnemann has spoken about the complex disease. And this is the situations where Dr. Test can create a complex disease in the patient. So it is better not to prescribe than to let the patient suffer for some time, because this suffering is going to kill or wash away the heat or the problem, remove the toxicity from the body. There should be lot time for you to let the things getting eliminated itself, toxicity to be removed itself by itself, and everything. What is your medicine is doing? When you are prescribing a medicine, what you do? Your medicine is not going to act. It is only acting as a catalyst. As a catalyst, it is there. What is there you are prescribing? It is nothing. Not a single molecule is there in your medicine. Not a single bit. It is energy form. It gets there, and it initiates you. It just poke your vital principle to act. So it is just poking you there. It is not taking part. It is just making your activity, your body to become activate you. So let the things happen itself, and everything is happening itself with the homeopathic medicines. It is our medicines are the dynamic medicine, and by the dynamicity simply means to act, to make the things change, without taking part into it. We are talking with the things and they get changed. So this is the things that happens with the homeopathic medicine. So waiting is very important, and as the more you learn waiting, the more patience you develop, the more experienced doctor you can become. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for clarifying for clarifying. Sir, there is one more question from Dr. Pradeep Bhagal. Can we see Hering's law in acute cases?
All these questions. I'm happy. I have pleasure in replying all this. I'm feeling very happy when you ask the question. Hering's law. Actually, Hering's only compiled the law. It was already there in the chronic disease. If you go read properly the chronic, I also request all the youngsters, try to go into the heritage books. Heritage books, the chronic disease, Materia Medica Pura. They are the original observations. And original observations Dr. Hahnemann has given about what you say, the Hering's law. It is there in the chronic disease. And you are getting only the precise 3 points from the Hering's law. But it is much more than that. And what we have seen, the 12 observations. Kane made 12 observations, and Hering has summarized only to the 3. It is only the extensions of the Hahnemannian thoughts. Hahnemannian thoughts. In acute disease also, the law of cure has to be followed. And it follows. If the medicine is right, what you should feel first? If the medicine is right, suppose a patient of the diarrhea is there, having 6, 7, 8 stools a day, the body getting dehydrated, and you feel immediate need for the putting on the saline water, and you must be expecting that with this so much dehydration, the patient will be feeling weak, nervous, everything. And after your medications, the stool is not subsiding. Suppose your stool is not getting better, but the patient is feeling energetic. Where is the first action? Energy plane, the first plane. And the problem, eliminating part, the toxicity has to be, it is continuing. In patient becoming strong and toxicity level is increasing. So this is the following the Hering's law. Hering's law is only indications that it should remove the toxicity from the body first, and then you have to and during the period of removal, the strength has to be kept as strong as possible. And if your medicine is able to make the patient stand, withstand all the problems, that is the first step, and first step that shows you the patient is moving towards the cure. And this is the first sign. Then the patient, with this strength, the patient will mentally he will feel better. So mental plane is better. Again, this is better. And then comes the physical plane. So from above downward, which is above energy, so next level is the mental level, and third level is the physical level. So from above downward, you think about the Hering's law. From above downward, in the reverse order of the appearances. In the reverse order of the appearance, the things which has come now, it will happen, sir. It will happen. The fever, when you prescribe a medicine, the fever will increase suddenly, and I have noticed that. And you will get panicky. The patient starts feeling panic. Yesterday it was happening to me, and the patient was panicked. The fever is not going down, not going down. I say, wait. At 10 o'clock in the night, now the fever is down. So the physical symptoms will be going later on, and it was aggravated. It was the last thing that was there. It was aggravated. Now after aggravation, it is coming down. This is the reverse order of the. So all these Hering's law you can observe, and it is better observed in the acute cases. Better observed, because things are happening very fastly. It is like the film going on. In a 3 hour film, you are watching the things changing too fast. So you just see the Hering's law. You can see the Hering's law working like a film in the acute cases. Without
Thank
the
you,
law,
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. There is one more question from Dr. Sanjeev. Please tell about the Camphor 1M and its application during COVID-19.
Shall I reply? I want to escape these questions.
Sure, sir. What you do is you can type your email ID in the chat box or your contact number.
Can I chat box? Where is the chat box?
Right side में देखो सर स्क्रीन में.
Setting. Chat box.
Chat box. Chat में.
I got it.
Sir, वहाँ पे आप अपना email ID. Just type your email ID. I request Dr. Sanjeev that this is a controversial question, so he can contact personally to sir on mail.
I'll be talking. I'll reply him. I will be replying him right now.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope you understand, Dr. Sanjeev, that there are strict guidelines against these things, so we are not discussing much on this. I hope you understand. Any other questions? Other questions?
About the camphor or whatever medicines is being prescribed, and in the WhatsApp, what I feel, WhatsApp is filled up with the materia medica nowadays. Every doctor is coming out with the new medicine. I don't say they are wrong, but definitely they are right in one context. They are right in one context, but they are not right in the complete sense. So completeness is very important. Completeness is very important, and totality of the symptoms only work. When you think about the totality of questions, this type of the questions will not arise. So whether to prescribe camphor, whether to prescribe arsenicum, no, it will not come like this. So be the homeopath. Only my answer is only be a homeopath. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there are questions for LM potency only. I think it needs a separate session if we want to discuss LM potency, because there are very many questions which are coming. How to shift from centesimal to 50 millisimal, how to dispense 50 millisimal scale. So we can plan, If you want to discuss, we can discuss right now. If it is not a longer.
Can you give another session for the LM potency?
Sure, sir. We'll plan and then we can go for it in the coming
For everyone,
days.
LM is the ultimate. LM is the ultimate. I say ultimate. We have the three scales now: decimal, centesimal, and 50 millesimal. Decimal was the primitive, centesimal was the in between, and the final. Which one is you are going to choose? Are you going to go back into the old things? You want to buy the black and white TV, or you want to buy latest TV or the colored TV? Which one you will prefer? Definitely the latest thing. The latest, we medical science is ever changing, ever growing system of the things. Nothing is stable, and medical science is the only science which will always remain incomplete. Which will remain incomplete. So get updated. Get updated. And Hahnemann was updating. How many editions he made? During his lifetime, 5 editions. And after his death, he has completed the 6th edition, and which was published after the. It was completed after after his death, published after his death. So why Dr. Hahnemann has to make 6 times own revision of his thoughts, his own revision? He earlier editions he will not see the vital force or the vital principle. In 4th edition he came up with that idea of the vital force. In the 5th edition you see the vital principle, the force and principle. No force, then force, and then principle. Force get changed into the principle. So this is very important thing. Why we have to keep changing? Because things are changing, understanding is changing, your experiences are changing. Do you feel that anatomy, we are still following the old version of anatomy? The latest anatomy, latest physiology, latest human psychology, understanding about the psychology, everything getting it. Why we are not able to update? But one thing you keep in mind, basic has never changed. The nature's law never changes. Homeopathy was based on the nature's law of cure, the law of similia, law of the minimum dose. We are not going to make a compromise for this, but we are trying to make more promotive with the applications of the new technology. The vastness of the Materia Medica, 5,064 symptoms of the sulfur in Ellen's Encyclopedia and 15,000 in the Radar Opus. I think more than for that. Can you imagine that it will be stored in your mind? At this age, I am not able to say that it is possible for me. It is not possible for me. So I need technology. And that's why and this technology idea was there in the Hahnemann's mind also. He thought about the repertorial process. He thought about the things came into his mind. How I can manage my mind? It is mind management system. And definitely today with the Radar Opus, I am thankful. This Radar people, they are doing wonderful job in making available all the things, everything on one platform. So we make a habit to develop something new, to learn something new. And if you are the only, we are a human beings. What is the quality of the human beings? It is only the learning is the only quality. We are able to learn. We are able to upgrade. We are able to change our life, our own way of the life. We can make or create our path. This is the important thing for the human being. And being a human, you can become a homeopath. Yes.
Thank you, sir. That was such a wonderful explanation. For the other questions, I would like to inform that we can have another session. We can plan another session on LM potency because it would take time. And if you have any still you want to discuss from Dr. M.K. Sahni sir, so he'll just type his email ID. I will myself type his email ID for you all, so that you can personally contact him on email for any of the
or WhatsApp number.
WhatsApp number. What shall I type, or email ID is enough?
No, I am giving the WhatsApp number also. And email number
Okay.
already I have signed. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You have sir's WhatsApp number and email ID in the chat box. You can contact personally and clear your doubts. Also to Dr. Sanjeev, you can also clear your doubt with him. So thank you so much. I think we come to the end of this session of today. So
Yes.
before we end up this session, I would like to thank you, sir, wholeheartedly. Thank you for this for coming to this platform, and I'm sure that this has been a wonderful session for each and everybody who's present with us. Wonderful case taking, wonderful description how to use radar software easily, and there had been so many clarifications done, and each and every doubt and everything was clarified so beautifully that I hope everybody enjoyed the session. So on behalf of my whole team of Homeopathy 360 BJN Group and Rajesh ji and Mr. Manish Jain, I would like to thank you, sir, for giving us your valuable time and guiding the audience. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much to you all also, Jessica ji and Rajesh ji. You are doing wonderful job with the Bijan people, and definitely you are going to rise. My blessings are with you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Whenever I meet you, it's like you give always. I've seen you blessing everybody. Thank you so much for your blessings. Always bestow upon us in the same way. Uh, you are an inspiration for us actually, and always will be because you have done so much for homeopathy. We guys cannot imagine. You have done so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. My heartful thanks always also goes to all the learners who have been with us today here. And before I sign off, very, very important vote of thanks goes to my whole team of Homeopathy 360. Uh, because they are the only people who are making it possible for such webinars and coming out with all the information related to homeopathy and make the fraternity updated about it. We will be sharing the recorded version of this webinar soon on our YouTube channel of Homeopathy 360. You can follow us at our YouTube so that you can view the past videos as well as the upcoming webinars video as also. Thank you for your time today and being such a patient audience. If you have any queries, you can mail us at webinar@homeopathy360.com. Also, we have a webinar tomorrow. I will just post the link of the webinar which is going to be held tomorrow on homeopathic pathology and boric materia medica. We have doctors who are Dr. Dr. Rakesh Goyal sir and Dr. Parth. We have them here tomorrow. So I'll just post the link wherein you can register for the webinar for tomorrow. You can see it in the chat box that the link is there. So you can register for the same tomorrow, the same timings, 3 o'clock. We'll see you in the webinar. And for any queries, you can mail me at webinar@homeopathy360.com. For submission of articles or any of your blogs, you can mail me at yashika@homeopathy360.com. So, thank you so much, everyone. Stay connected with us always, and stay tuned for the upcoming webinars. Keep participating likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you.